Today's daily LeetCode problem of the day is sort array by increasing frequency, number 1636. For this problem, we're given an array of integer nums, and we want to sort the array in increasing order based on the frequency of the values. If multiple values have the same frequency, we want to sort them in decreasing order. We're then going to return the sorted array. So in this situation, we have 2 1s, 3 2s, and a 3. So our output is going to be 1 3, and then our 2 1s, and then our 3 2s, because we only have 1, 2, and 3. In our second example, we have 1 2 2s, 2 3s, and 1 1. So because we have 1 1, we return that first, and then our 2 3s and 2 2s in a descending order. So for this problem, we're going to use a hash map and a custom sorting method using the arrays.sort. We're going to create our own comparator. So for this problem, let's first initialize our map. So we're going to have a map of integer. Integer 1 is going to be our key, or what value it is, so like 1, 2, or 3. And then the second integer is going to be our key value. So the value is going to be the frequency that number appears. So we could call it our frequency map. It's equal to a new hash map. Jeez, what happened there? So we're now going to put each of our numbers into our map. So for each integer num in nums, let's go ahead and do our freq map dot put. And we're going to put it for the key num. Then we're going to freq map dot get or default. So we're going to either get what value is stored at num or default it at 0. And if we get it at num, we're going to add 1 to it. Then we want to use an integer array, not an int array, an integer array, because the compare class does not support primitive data types, and an integer is not a primitive data type. So let's make integer object, and we could call it nums object is equal to a new integer array of nums.length. Then for int I is equal to 0 as long as I is less than nums.length I plus, and we're simply going to do nums object of I is equal to nums of I. Now we're going to create our own custom comparator. So we're going to do arrays.sort, and we're going to sort nums object, and we're going to compare values A and B in our nums object, and we're going to compare it as if our frequency map dot get A equals frequency map dot get B. So if the two value pairs for one key are equal to each other, we are going to compare the keys themselves and put them into descending order. So return integer dot compare B, comma, A. So we're going to return the one that comes after the other. So in this case, we would return 3 before we return 2, if their values are the same. Otherwise, we are going to return our integer dot compare the frequency map dot get A and frequency map dot get B. And it's as simple as that. That's our custom comparator. Then we want to turn it back into an int array, not an integer array. So for each int I is equal to 0 as long as I is less than nums.length I plus, we're going to turn nums of I into nums object of I. Then we can return our nums. Are you ready? and Troy screaming in the background. Passes our test cases. Passes all solutions. So let's try this in Python. So all that typing in Java equals basically a couple lines in Python. First thing we want to do is import from collections. We want to import a counter. So we're going to import a counter. And so we're going to define a frequency map, once again, using our counter, and it's going to count nums. So counter is going to count nums. Then we're going to return the sorted nums, and our key is going to be the lambda, and x is the frequency of x, comma, minus x. So if we run this, that's our test cases. If we submit it, passes all of our solutions. So we're importing a counter. The counter creates a frequency map counting the amount of times each number appears in nums. Then we sort nums, and we sort it backwards, and then we address the frequencies, and we put the least frequent first before the most frequent, or the ones that appear the most. So thank you. Follow for more daily LeetCode solutions.